you talked about producing projects. What are you working on right now? What's the project?
Well, historically, I've done short films and television pilots, and but my most recent project has been a documentary. It's my first documentary. It's called Voices from Within, and it's set in St. Elizabeth's Hospital, which is Washington, D.C.'s public psychiatric hospital here in the city. And we did a video diary project over there where we taught 5 individuals in care how to, video production basically. So, how to shoot, how to edit, how to tell a story, all of that. And so they all ended up with kind of 10-minute video diaries of their life inside the hospital. So that was sort of a distinct part of the project, of the documentary, that was like a standalone project. And the documentary is a broader piece that includes that project and the experience that those guys had in creating art and telling their story and being listened to, and then following along some of these guys' stories as they continue to live there and maybe possibly even get released. So it's been an ongoing project. We're at 1.5 years into it right now.
And when are you looking at to finalize that and get it out?
Well, we've had a few little things we've been dealing with recently, but we're just about to start up shooting again, and we probably have about 2 months of shooting left. And
I know I actually had a chance to see the video diary section of it. It was very well done, and all the people that you had involved really took the time to think about it and do it. And I know these guys, they had some tough lives, these guys, but to actually see them do that was pretty amazing. What's it like when you see something that you produced, up on the screen like that? Yeah. What's that feeling like?
Yeah, well, it's great. I mean, this particular one ended up being more of a labor of love than any of the other things I'd done. I mean, I'm used to producing other people's work, and so this was my work. Well, there was one work that I guess I produced also that was more of mine too, which you and I did together many years ago.
I remember that. One of my favorites of all time, and we won't talk about that.
But other than that, so this one has a real special place in my heart because of that, and also because these guys had no idea about filmmaking and the power of filmmaking and the power of telling your own story was so life-changing for them after being decades and decades in a mental institution. And so, instead of being examined, they were the examiner. I mean, they are the ones that were filming and choosing what to shoot and choosing what to say. And so it was, a real empowering experience for them, which gave me a lot of pride in the whole in them and in the whole project.
As an actor, we look for inspiration from other actors. And who inspires you? What actor do you, find your inspiration?
I think actually what I mostly do to keep myself inspired as an actor and for the actual act of acting is I see a lot of theater.
Sure.
And I actually don't really watch much television except for like a few, things here and there. And I don't make it to the movies as often as I would like, probably. It's really the live acting that I feel like inspires me because it goes back to what we were talking about before. It's like it's so raw and it's so vulnerable, and you don't get to try it 10 times and take the best edit, the best take. And, just like I was saying, the amount of time commitment that it goes into for a theater person to really do that all the time, to do it full time. And so, that's really where I continue to draw on my inspiration as an actor. And maybe that's because that's where I started out, was in the theater, and I have such a high respect for those actors.
Sure, and as an actor who has done film and television and theater, what are the differences there? Because I get asked all the time, Ken, what's the difference between theater and on camera?
You mean like acting styles? Or?
Yeah, I mean, the style of acting or the technical aspects of
it.
Right.
Gosh. Okay, so obviously when you're on stage and you've got to project to the back of the house and you have to, make sure that everybody has the same experience, person in the front row and the person in the back row. And so it can obviously be a lot broader. And you get so much more rehearsal with your acting partners and with the director that it's like a team, like a team experience in that way. And obviously when you, like I was saying before, when you are acting for film and television, you got to show up prepared. You got to already have your choices made. They cast you, whatever you did in that casting room that got you this far, you got to bring that to the set and then be prepared to completely change it if they want you to. Sure. So, when you're doing theater acting, you get it down to kind of like a science to where it happens the same way every single night, and the other actors kind of depend on that, but it's still so raw and organic, and it does feel like it's the first time you've ever said it. And you have, Meryl Streep got interviewed on Fresh Air a couple weeks ago, and she was saying that she doesn't even worry about the viewer, because if she can't make her acting partner believe that she is actually that person, then she knows she'll never get to the viewer. Yeah. But if she can do that right here, right now, then she doesn't have to worry about it. And that was so insightful, I thought, because a lot of times we are like kind of playing to the viewer rather than playing to or with your acting partner.
What was one of your, aside from working with me in your film, right? Yes. But let's take out one of your most memorable acting experiences and what you learned from that.
The things that I really like to do are things that I don't get to do in real life, which, is like dress up in a uniform, maybe carry a gun, sure, pretend like I have children, things like that. So that's fun for me because in my life, I practice law 3 days a week part-time, and then I act and produce part-time. And so I like to keep that diversity and that change going. But as far as like, those moments in my life that compel me to continue doing what I'm doing are those times when you cross over, you become that character. And it's like when you come out of it, when you snap out of it, it's like you're like coming out of a dream or a stupor, and it's like a drug almost. It's like addictive, and then when that happens, you're like, oh, yes, that's what I'm talking about. I want that. Let's do it again. Let's make that happen again, And it doesn't happen every time, obviously, and I think it obviously happens less and less when you're doing, political spots or healthcare commercials, or like, things like that. But it's those moments where I'm doing the right thing. I love this.
Yeah, and just to experience that as an actor is something that keeps us going. It just it's like playing golf. I don't know if you play golf, but you make a good shot and you're like, oh, I got to do this again. So it's very addicting. Right. You get the acting bug. Yeah. Right.
And I think you really have to be addicted to it. I mean, you can't not do it. You shouldn't do it unless you can't not do it. Obviously, that makes sense to actors out there. But it's because it's too hard otherwise. It's just too hard.
Yeah. One more question is about auditioning. What would be your advice to an actor after an audition?
Forget about it.
Right?
Don't even. You might want to keep in mind what are the callback dates, what are the shoot dates, so you don't, screw up your schedule possibly. But I try not to give it a thought afterward, and you'll just drive yourself crazy with that if you do. So that's like my best advice is don't even worry about it. There's nothing you can do after the fact. So don't even lose an ounce of sleep over it, whether you feel great about it or whether you feel horrible about it. Yeah. Just keep on keeping on.
Yep. That's great advice for any actor, to be honest. Well, I'd like to thank you for coming out today. I appreciate everything that you said. It was great information. And don't forget to look for Joy's documentary. And what's the title of it again?
Voices from Within. Voices
from Within. It should be out within a year or two.
Certainly, yes. We're looking at the end of the year.
Okay. And thank you, Joy.
Okay,
appreciate it.
You.